with Turkish lawmakers on one side linking the dig to Paul and the Vatican secret archives, and the media on the other connecting it to the global shadow art market, and now a third theory coming from the local residents themselves that speaks of a supernatural threat existing beneath the villa. Uzdil believes that within this gateway, supernatural entities and other forms of life can pass in and out of our dimension, hence the real reason why special forces were present. Sometime in the late 2000s, in the southern town of Tarsus, Turkey, while investigating the remains of an abandoned slum in the heart of the city, 15 archaeologists mysteriously vanish without a trace. Several years later, in 2016, a second group of archaeologists, this time under the protection of the elite police special operations department, entered the house to begin a year-long excavation to unearth what local observers say presented a significant threat to the entire area. Initially, press reports connected the excavation to the tragic passing of an undercover officer who was assigned to infiltrate a black market organization that traded in ancient artifacts. However, over the following months and then years, details began to emerge that not only suggested that the abandoned Tarsus house may have a possible connection to ancient secrets held in the Vatican archives concerning apocryphal biblical texts, but also an interdimensional gateway to an extra-dimensional space that has existed beneath Turkey since the 1930s. This mystery begins with the discovery of an ancient sarcophagus in the heart of Turkey. In November 2011, authorities in the town of Tarsus were investigating the activities of a gang of antiquity looters operating in the area. Historically, Turkey has been long targeted by tomb raiders hunting for treasures dating back thousands of years, valued at billions of dollars, originating from the Ottoman, Hittite, Roman, and even Mesopotamian civilizations. Assigned to this particular case in Tarsus was the young investigator Midhat Erdal, who was tasked to infiltrate a group of rogue antique dealers and shut down their operations from the inside. Renting out an old slum on behalf of the gang, who had already pre-chosen it for an illegal excavation, Midhat would later tell his wife, Sibel Erdal, that they had discovered an ancient sarcophagus beneath its foundations, filled with gold candles, bowls, and coins. And although his assignment quickly resulted in a successful sting that saw the antique dealers apprehended, Midhat would afterwards explain to Sibel that he had become gravely concerned over the official report of the operation, since it had intentionally left out any mention of the vast amounts of gold that was found there. Months later, his now widowed wife would tell the media that in the weeks leading up to a freak accident he was involved in, he became certain that a criminal element was tracking him due to his knowledge of the missing gold. However, little did Sibel know that her late husband had also unknowingly become entangled in an international mystery of vast historical and supernatural proportions. In 2016, Sibel Erdal would write a letter to the authorities at the highest level demanding the reopening of her husband's case, as she believed that his accident was planned by individuals connected to the global shadow art market, and that evidence for this could possibly still exist beneath the Tarsus slum he was staying in. Almost immediately, a new excavation on the property began in November 2016. This high-profile project attracted major media attention, as not only were a large team of archaeologists required to dig beneath the slum, but also the Turkish elite police special operations department were assigned to completely lock down the area, isolating the house and the surrounding abandoned villas from the rest of the neighborhood. If this was not unusual enough, the neighboring residents complained that the archaeological work was ongoing day and night on a 24-hour basis for 352 days non-stop. It didn't take long for local lawmakers to become concerned due to the project's large scale and the level of secrecy surrounding it. Whatever they were digging for seemed way more important than evidence for lost gold.
Mersin'in Tarsus ilçesinde esrarengiz bir kazı yapıldı. Ve orada yaptığım araştırmalarda bu işin ucunun Vatikan'a dayanabileceğini.
This is Aytug Atuce, a senior opposition lawmaker who developed a keen interest in the Tarsus excavation work. Suspicious of the true nature of the project, Atuce made multiple attempts to access the site, but was consistently denied entry by security officials each time. However, he was unofficially told by one of the security guards that the dig was deemed so important it had international ramifications that reached the level of the Vatican. Exactly how the Vatican was connected to the mystery was initially unclear, with some experts claiming that the archaeologists had discovered ancient letters related to the Codex Sinaiticus, a 4th century Greek manuscript of the Bible that includes controversial apocryphal texts that contradicts mainstream Catholicism. However, Atuce would later clarify that the workers had in fact discovered a collection of writings in the 21st century, labeled as St. Paul's Missing Bible, and that local authorities in conjunction with the Vatican were doing their best to locate and extract these manuscripts. So what exactly is St. Paul's Missing Bible, and why is it so important? Well, Paul was a prominent figure in early Christianity who had authored several letters in the New Testament section of the Bible. However, some believe that not all of his writings were canonized into the collection, with skeptics either speculating that they were either lost to time or deliberately hidden by the Church itself. Exactly what is written in those texts to make the Vatican want to keep them a secret is a topic for another day. However, the concept does play a central role in Dan Brown's fictional book and movie franchise, The Da Vinci Code. Historically, Tarsus was a city in ancient Cilicia, located in the modern-day province of Mersin, dating back to the Neolithic period. The level of history in this one area is almost unparalleled in Europe and the Middle East, as it also serves as the birthplace of Paul himself. Hence why the Vatican allegedly has an interest in all archaeological work across the city, taking us to November 1st, 2017, and a brewing media storm. With Turkish lawmakers on one side linking the dig to Paul and the Vatican's secret archives, and the media on the other connecting it to the global shadow art market, and now a third theory coming from the local residents themselves that speaks of a supernatural threat existing beneath the villa, which we will discuss shortly. The Vatican ambassador to Ankara, Archbishop Paul Russell, released a statement of Hurriyet Daily News attempting to distance Rome from the entire drama. Amongst the town's other residents, a popular theory emerged that the excavation did not concern lost gold, nor even lost manuscripts, but an actual physical threat via some kind of ancient technology, such as the Ark of the Covenant and other sacred objects, or something much worse. While for the most part, these rumors spread by the town's residents were at best highly speculative, one high-profile individual, the author Haluk Uzdil, stated that there is not only an element of truth to these theories, but the threat beneath the villa was, and possibly still, so serious it was responsible for the disappearance of 15 archaeologists sometime back in the late 2000s. In 2022, the large Turkish news and current affairs YouTube channel, Nivar New York, uploaded an interview with Mr. Uzdil, where he claimed to have spoken to two members of the 2016 excavation team They explained to him that in the late 2000s, 15 archaeologists upon entering the house had dug deep down into its foundations, where they encountered what they might have initially believed to be a geological magnetic anomaly that residents in the area are familiar with. Despite its depth, its effects are so powerful that till this day, it occasionally disrupts all types of electronic communication devices, including television sets, key fobs, and mobile phones, etc. Before we continue, it should be noted that such anomalies are common across the world and can arise due to a variety of known natural causes. However, according to Uzdil, what is below the Tarsus villa is anything but natural. The signal may not be anomalous in itself, but its origin is, as it is apparently connected to an anomaly that serves as a gateway between our world and an extra-dimensional location that Turkish special forces have known about for at least a decade. Apparently, this elite unit took advantage of Sibel Irdal's request to reopen the case of her husband's investigation as an excuse to initiate a large-scale archaeological excavation beneath the house. Uzdil believes that within this gateway, supernatural entities and other forms of life can pass in and out of our dimension. Hence the real reason why special forces were present. However, this is not a naturally occurring anomaly, but the result of a type of technology that could have been responsible for the disappearance of the initial 15 archaeologists back in the late 2000s. According to him, as members of the 2016 team advanced through the tunnels found beneath the house, they detected a high-frequency signal that gradually intensified until they encountered what they believed were two enchanted black guardians, which we assume were statues and not living entities, who served as protectors of this gateway. It should also be noted that similar black guardian entities also appear in Tuareg folklore hundreds of miles away in the Libyan desert, where according to their tradition, they are currently guarding a lost subterranean city buried beneath Egypt. To see our episode on that myth, please check the description box below. Referencing a professor, he states that the signal is impermanent in nature but originates from a mechanical device in or near to the gateway. Surprisingly, he states that the device has only existed beneath Tarsus since the 1930s, after initially being bought into the country from Austria in 1939. Furthermore, the device is only one part of a larger device that is extraterrestrial in origin but was dismantled into several pieces and distributed across the globe by the Germans, where they were placed in high-energy locations from Argentina to Turkey. These precise locations can only be found on a global map for ley lines. Tarsus is one of these locations, and according to Uzdil, is one of the most important 12 energy centers in the world. Under the order of the high-ranking Heinrich Himmler, the goal of distributing these devices across the world was in order to produce an experiment similar to the infamous Philadelphia experiment, where 2 points between space and perhaps even time can be compressed together. However, due to Europe falling into an ever-worsening conflict over the next few years, the Germans abandoned the project, where it remained forgotten until the late 2000s, when 15 archaeologists working in Tarsus disappeared. As of June 2023, although the Tarsus District Governorship and the Mersin Provincial Directorate of Culture would confirm that archaeological work was occurring beneath the house in 2016, they officially concluded that nothing of significance was ever found. If we are to assume that this gateway is real, is there any precedent for an anomaly like it occurring elsewhere across Turkey? Well, there is a number of urban legends from both the modern day and ancient folklore concerning interdimensional gateways to other realms existing beneath the country. However, one newspaper covering the Tarsus mystery references an academic who believes that the tunnels beneath the house are connected to projects the Roman Emperor Decius developed during his reign. Decius is theorized to be the identity of an important individual from Middle Eastern history who incited a paranormal event leading to a group of individuals becoming displaced across time. ruling from 249 to 251 CE. This emperor wanted to be worshipped like a god during his reign. In the 18th chapter of the Quran, called The Cave, the story of several Christian youths who resisted him by going into hiding in a remote cave found themselves transported to over 300 years into the future after falling asleep. Today, the place where they initially disappeared is known as the Seven Sleepers and is approximately 8 miles from Tarsus. Did these youths experience a form of time travel when entering the cave, transporting their bodies across time? Or were their bodies just stuck in a time well, where time itself slowed down, preserving them for hundreds of years? Islamic historians have yet to agree as to the mechanics of the event, ultimately concluding how it occurred as not being important anyway. However, our question is, did those 15 archaeologists in the late 2000s experience something similar, especially given the proximity of the two locations? As we said, more questions than answers. But what do you think? Leave your comments below, like and subscribe. Check out part 1 and part 2 in this series where we examine a similar anomaly believed to exist beneath Egypt and Libya, and the overarching through line concerning Germany's presence in the Middle East during the 1940s and the research for occult artifacts. Until then, inshallah, we'll see you on the next one.